So first we have a player saying, this reasoning seems a little arbitrary and anti-sandbox to me. I don't know what that even means. Okay. I don't even know where that's from exactly. But alright, in the dev states, it feels to me like you are misunderstanding that particular point. Okay. This is what I actually wanted to get into. This is okay. I don't know what they're even talking about at this point. But alright, so not actually another player. Oh, he's explaining his point now. Okay, that makes sense. So he added himself and says, if few players are to experience a particular feature rarely, it becomes less worthwhile to pursue than a feature that most players are likely to experience often, all else being equal. I agree and I disagree with this. And I just talked about it earlier, but probably in different clips. But if you're watching the full unedited, then you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. I feel like, while I agree, it's better to pursue the features that most players are likely to experience, I also think that you should put a lot of small little things that only a few will experience. There's a lot of reasons for this. First, it's very cool to find. You know what I mean? It will get people to play the game again just to find these little quirky things. You know what I mean? And also, if those quirky things change depending on your decisions in the game, even better. It gives it a lot more replayability. And even as a PR standpoint, how many times have you seen something from a game like I still see like videos from let's say Fallout New Vegas where someone finds something, or from Skyrim where someone finds like something very small, very quirky, something that like most people just go past, and they'll just take a screenshot of it, post on Reddit, boom, 50,000 likes. You know what I'm saying? Just like that, because no one else found it before. It's just something random that just happened. Like, I think that's pretty huge, and I think that should happen, a lot more, and more games should, actually incorporate those. It's a very good thing to incorporate, in my opinion. But I do agree that you should focus on the features that most people will experience. But I also think you should not neglect the small features. But alright, he states, to elaborate further, these things are not developed in isolation. This is to say if we pursue one thing, we do not so by not pursuing something else. Yeah, and just to reiterate, I'm not saying he's stating that they're not pursuing those features at all. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying what I'm trying to say that he's saying is that they pursue the features that more players like to experience. They pursue those features more than the other features, which I think is fine. But at the same time, I think Bannerlord needs a little bit more sprinkles of those, rarely used features. Then he states, similarly, if we chose to not pursue that one thing, we do so in favor of something else. All of these options can enhance the sandbox experience and must be prioritized according to their assumed costs and benefits. That is true. And again, I think a lot of features in a sandbox makes it a good sandbox. So I think that's what I said. I think like a couple more features, like a couple more big features added and a couple small features added, I think this game's going to be a pretty complete game, And then he says, I don't want people to get the impression that all is set in stone because I keep going back to this point. That is true. It's ever expanding. It is only my current impressions that the costs and benefits of this aspect are worse than other priorities. Maybe a good solution will be identified that can drastically reduce costs. Maybe other people will view the value higher than I do. Okay. To get a bit more back on topic, a question to those who are interested in defensive keep fights. Oh, yes, that is what he was talking about. So in the previous video, we went over that a tale where that pretty much, this developer, he stated that, defensive keep fights aren't really in the works because they would really, in most playthroughs, they probably won't ever happen really. And it's a lot of kind of, a lot of stuff has to get actually implemented to that. It's not as simple as you think, where it's just like, oh, we'll just switch around for the player. A lot of stuff has to happen differently. You know what I mean? Because most fights, the player character never really is going to make it into the keep. Is probably going to die at the gate, or or there would have to be some prompt that tells the player, hey, we're losing. You have the chance to escape into the keep, or some stuff like that. Just something like that. So he said that that's not a real priority right now. I'm guessing that's what the conversation is about. Then he says, would you feel that current offensive setup would offer an enjoyable defensive experience to you? Okay? This is to say no control over your troops, no reinforcements for your side, and generally a mission that you are quite likely to lose. or well are intended to lose, since another challenge may be players exploring the terrain to simply one-on-one 200 bots and basically mean that no siege has to be lost anymore. Also interesting. Okay, he's saying that it would just be exploited. You'd find a nice spot inside the keep and then just boom, 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 boom. And then he states, if not, how do you imagine it should work? Okay. Okay. And then he states, good question. Maybe just give the player the option so he can decide if he wants to fight the defensive keep battle, even under those circumstances. Would that be much work for you? Question mark. And he states, well, I'm no actual engineer. I think that would be the cheapest option. However, if it provides a poor experience that may reflect badly on the product, the time may be better spent on improving existing siege experiences. That's true, yeah. I think, just listen, at this point, there's so much uproar on the whole siege machines and all that, and all the ladder stuff, that needs to get fixed ASAP. I'm gonna keep it honest with you. The longer it stays out, the worse the people are getting about it. And that's probably definitely something that needs to be fixed first.